Private member statements. I call the member for Baulkham Hills.
Sounded like a list of my academic achievements.
All yours.
Madam Acting Speaker, the role of a Member of Parliament is one of sacred trust. The public entrusts us with not only their hard-earned money but also their confidence. Members of all persuasions often deal with constituent matters of a sensitive nature, and we are bound by our ethical duty to not breach the faith the trust the public has placed in us. Unfortunately, a former member of the other place has not only breached that trust, but she has demonstrated an incapacity to serve the public and a complete disregard for all common standards of public behaviour. Senator Lee Rhiannon, recently famous for being a shrill to big oil by leaving her office lights on overnight while exhorting the rest of us to live in caves, recently launched an unjust, unfair, false smear campaign against Group Colleges Australia. I understand the faction that the Greens, which Lee Rhiannon hails from, is little more than disaffected former communists who seek to rewrite history with a view of claiming communism won and we are now members of the Comintern. But Rhiannon's efforts to rewrite the truth of history should not be repeated in efforts to rewrite the truth about individuals and organisations seeking to contribute to our education system today. It is worth noting that not one mainstream media outlet has picked up on Rhiannon's accusations and sought to run with them. Not the commercial television networks, not News Limited, not Fairfax, not the ABC, not the SBS, nobody. Rhiannon has accused Alan Manley, an extremely well-respected constituent of the Baulkham Hills electorate and Managing Director of Group Colleges Australia, of being a branch stacker for the former Prime Minister in 1994 on the basis of an email from a former employee of Mr Manley, which has since been discredited and withdrawn by that very same individual. I find this accusation of branch stacking based on false information of no surprise, given Rhiannon's efforts to hijack an environmentalist party and turn it into the next incarnation of the Bolsheviks. Rhiannon also made claims about a $130,000 donation by Group Colleges Australia influencing policy decisions. I can only imagine how much of herself Lee Rhiannon has sold off, or out for that matter, given that it was her party which accepted the largest corporate donation in Australian history of $1.6 million. I have known Mr Alan Manley and his wife Jenny McCarthy for some 10 years, and they are wonderful people. They have worked hard for their success. It is an indictment on Lee Rhiannon that she should seek to use parliamentary privilege to launch such an unfounded smear against private citizens and constituents of Baulkham Hills, and whose only crime is having a different world view to Lee Rhiannon's, one that's different, like most other people, I might add. Mr Alan Manley has advised me that he's seeking to exercise his rights in the Senate to provide a citizen's reply. I wish him well in his endeavours, and I hope that when the Senate allows him his reply, Lee Rhiannon sits in the chamber and listens to every word, so she may learn that her role is to represent the people of this state and not to abuse her power by waging personal vendettas in search of a long-lost dream of a communist dictatorship. Mr Speaker, Mr Manley is in the public gallery today, and given he is an honest businessman, published author and generous member of the Hills community, I am obliged to offer him a formal apology on behalf of the people who I was elected to represent. An unjust and defamatory attack has been made on one of my constituents, and I am horrified at the pain and suffering that this has caused.